there! I hope you guys saw the video I put up last week about how abstinence education is not only stupid, but also dumb. I thought it was a pretty cool video. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I thought that a cool follow-up to that video would be to tell you guys some actual lies that I was told by actual health teachers teaching sex ed throughout my middle school and high school career. Some of these get pretty ridiculous, and it just goes to show that we need fact-based, unbiased, comprehensive sex ed in schools, because imagine if I had gone my whole life believing these things. The first lie that I was told was that you have to break the hymen in order to have sex. Now, the hymen, like if this is the vagina, the hymen is a membrane that kind of goes around the opening, and yeah, it can like tear or rip or stuff like that if it's not like lubed up enough, but this teacher had told me that the hymen was an actual membrane over the whole vagina that either the penis or a tampon or something had to break, like it was this, like the freshness seal on like a thing of juice in the store. To be fair to that health teacher, this is a common misconception, but it's not true, it is a myth. That myth goes hand in hand with another myth that I was told, which is that as a girl, your first time having sex is supposed to be painful. This is a myth. It is not true. Your first time can be a little, rough, because with practice everything gets better, but if you take your time and you lube up properly, you're not supposed to be in any actual pain. Another myth that I was told that turns out to be a pretty popular myth, I don't know where this started, but people apparently will tell you in health class that there is an actual chemical in your brain that will make you attached to the first person you have sex with forever. Yeah, that is not true, and it kind of just makes everyone super paranoid and guilty about their first time, like all the ones that I just mentioned. It's just supposed to make teenagers really anxious about having sex for the first time, and that's not okay. Oh, another popular lie that I was told by a teacher, not by like a student or anything, I was told by a teacher that your vagina will get loose and lose elasticity but if you have too much sex, which is not true. That kind of happens maybe with age, like after menopause, but not for 16-year-olds. I actually did have my 8th grade health teacher tell us that your vagina will not get wet if you're not married. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with that lady. Another popular thing that people like to tell young people about sex ed to deter them is that having lots of sex means that you don't have respect for yourself. Self-respect has nothing to do with the amount of sex you have or whether or not people see you naked. It has nothing to do with that. Self-respect just means that you make your own decisions and respect your own choices. And if you choose to have like a bunch of sex, as long as you have like protected sex and you're safe, there's nothing wrong with that. My freshman health teacher used to tell us that she could tell which teenage couples had started having sex because they started to fight a lot, and that having sex ruins your relationship. Clearly that's not true. When I was a junior, there was a teacher who, and apparently this is a common exercise, she took a piece of tape, put it on one student's arm, and then took it off, and then tried to put it on another student's arm, and was like, see, it can't get as attached, it's not going to be as attached as the first time, and it was supposed to be like a metaphor for you'll never be as attached to like the next person you have sex with as opposed to the first person you have sex with, and on you'll become less attached, which is not only just sex negative, but it's just completely wrong and dumb. Another metaphor like the tape one was a teacher had taken a rose and basically like started off in one corner of the room and had each student take a petal. By the time it got to the back of the room, it was a stem, and it was supposed to be like, see, you're giving a little bit of yourself away each time you have sex, and by the time you get to the person you want to marry, there'll be nothing left. That is not only just, it's just so terrible, because your value as a person does not come from how many people you have sex with. It is just terribly backwards. Speaking of terribly backwards, okay, when I was a freshman, they were doing that whole exercise where it was they show you how to put the condom on, but for some reason they didn't just use a banana or something. They had an actual wooden penis. The problem with this wooden penis is that it looked nothing like a penis. It had like a mushroom head. I might include a picture or something, but it was like a literal, it like went like that and had a giant mushroom top. Unless there's giant Mario mushroom topped penises out there, like they were just afraid to have an actual phallic looking penis. I don't know why. And the last lie I was told is actually the most dangerous lie, because I was told by more than one health teacher that condoms break all the time and condoms aren't actually reliable, when in real life, condoms are 99% effective, and condoms go through rigorous testing before they're allowed to be purchased by the public. So that was just a lie to get kids to be like, you know, to when they thought, oh, we'll be fine having sex because we're going to use a condom. Oh, no, you're not. You shouldn't be having it because condoms aren't reliable, which is not only untrue, but it's unsafe because it makes teenagers just not want to bother to use condoms because it might break anyway. So those are some actual lies that I was told by real health teachers. I didn't hear any of those from like friends in high school or anything stupid. Those were all from people who were supposed to be teaching me about my body and about how to have sex responsibly, and clearly they didn't. So please, I said this in my last video, but I'm gonna say it again. If you have the chance in your area to vote to have a fact-based, unbiased sex ed in your school district, please, please do it, because it is very important. Imagine if you were in a situation where high school sex ed was the only sex ed you got and you went around believing those lies for the rest of your life. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if that's your thing, and in the comments feel free to tell me some lies that you were told by your health teachers. I think it would be very interesting to hear some other ones, especially from more conservative states. Those are the ones that get really, really funny and twisted and horrible, so I enjoy reading those. Huge public health concern, because America is also a country currently fighting for better health care for its poor and fighting for women to keep their reproductive rights.